If we think about biggest empire in history, first thought of many people would be British, Roman, or even Mongol Empire. Problem solved. End of the video. I was joking. It isn't that simple. We have to define, what does term biggest empire even mean? After weeks of research and data analysis, I have decided to divide word biggest into 4 categories. Biggest population, biggest territory, biggest cultural impact, and biggest economy. This will allow us to make wise and careful decision about choosing the biggest empire in human history. If you want to know my personal opinion as bonus, just wait to the end of the video. Let's get started. At first, I would like to cover the most obvious and easy to justify category, namely the biggest empire in own territory. You will be surprised, it is neither Russian nor Mongol Empire. It was the British one. In year 1920, the empire when sun never set had 35 square million kilometers, which resulted in owning over 26% of world land area, excluding Antarctica of course. If you are Russian
Зарплату последнюю дали это марта за
or Mongol, and right now you are thinking that your empires were close to British, stop, listen to this now. The British Crown controlled over 10 million square kilometers more than these 2 big boys. So not bad, but still quiet, far from the tea slurpers. Do you have any predictions about the possibility of any country in a future exciting British past territory? Write your thoughts in the comments. If the size is covered, let's go to the next category, which is gonna be biggest population. This will be a bit complicated, but don't worry, I will explain everything to you. If we want to compare direct numbers, of course top countries would be China and India, both having 1.4 billion population. But more objective indicator, namely percent of world population, these 2 countries would constitute for 18.4% of world total population. Sounds like a huge number, but I assure you, it isn't the biggest in history. That's when the things are getting spicy. If you type in the phrase biggest empire in terms of population in Google, first thing you will find is the British Empire.
Oh no! Anyway,
in the year 1913, 412 million people lived under the control of the British Empire, 23% of the world's population at that time. That statement is not true. There was a bigger empire.
what? What the f?
If you will scroll down more, you will find an interesting article about the Achaemenid Empire. It is written that this country ruled over 49.4 million of the world's 112.4 million people around 480 BC. That is 44% of the world's total population at the time. Sounds impressive, but I have to sadden you a bit. These estimates are wrong, because it takes data from different sources and predictions, which just makes these numbers incomparable and simply wrong. So now, when we know which country hadn't had the biggest population in human history, let's say which empire had. And it is Qing China. In the year 1800, with almost 300 million people living in it out of 1 billion, it is a clear winner with having over 30% of world's population at that time. Truly amazing score. Let's jump to the next category, my favorite, because we will not base on sheer numbers, namely biggest cultural impact. This part is going to be pretty serious to honor the greatest empire in history. And if you know me, you already know the answer. It is Roman Empire.
What is that? Whoa! Caesar forever!
It lasted for 1,500 years, eventually collapsing in the 15th century CE. During its long and illustrious reign, the Roman Empire left massive impact on Western civilization, shaping everything from art and architecture to law and language. Perhaps the most significant cultural legacy of the Roman Empire is its language, Latin. It was the language of the state, and it became the lingua franca of the Western world for centuries after the empire's collapse. Even today, Latin remains an important language in academia and in many religious and legal contexts. Sorry English, I prefer Latin. But the cultural impact of the Roman Empire goes far beyond just language. The empire's art and architecture were some of the most impressive in the ancient world. The Romans also left their mark on literature, producing some of the greatest works of Western literature that are still studied and admired today. Beyond these specific cultural achievements, the Roman Empire's influence can be seen in many other areas as well. Roman law, for example, was a major precursor to modern Western legal systems, and many of the basic principles of Western governance, such as the separation of powers, can be traced back to Roman political institutions. In addition, the Roman Empire played a significant role in the spread of Christianity. The empire's conversion to Christianity in the 4th century CE helped to establish the religion as a major force in the world, and many of the foundational texts of Christianity were written in the language of the Roman Empire. All of these factors and more contribute to the Roman Empire's lasting cultural impact. Despite its collapse over 500 years ago, the empire's influence can still be felt in the world today. Whether through language, art, literature, law, or religion, the legacy of the Roman Empire is an enduring testament to the power and influence of empires throughout human history. So this is my winner. Let's go to the next category. That will be funny. You will find out in a moment the richest empire in history. Yes, the Indians finally made themselves into one of the 4 categories. I promise you, I was shocked too, but can't deny the facts. To be precise, it was the Mughal Empire in 17th century. They were so rich that the British were so impressed by the wealth and power of the Mughal emperors that the slightly changed word Mughal entered the English language. The term Mughal describes an all-powerful ruler of industry such as the music or finance industry. Their economy contained 25% of world GDP. I have to admit it, very impressive. Unfortunately, British conquered these territories 2 centuries later. Now, as we have spoken about each of the 4 categories of the term biggest empire, it's time to my personal choice. And it is British. Sorry Romans, not this time. You all know why, so won't explain it. But don't turn off the video yet. If you liked it, please subscribe and write what topic about history should I cover in the next video. It's all for now. Have a nice day.